the Survival Slopes. I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shade, and this is Bridging Fears. Let's go, come on. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you 6 months from now. What would you do? Let's go. So, family, I did a topic some months back talking about if you had 24 hours to live. It was taken from the Bad Boy Diddy soundtrack from way back when. But what if you had 6 months to live? How would you settle up your affairs? Would you get right with your finances? If you can. Maybe you're too deep in a hole that you can't. What about people in your life? People that you've crossed, or people that have crossed you. Would you settle that up? Would you get right with that? Or your job? Would you try to find a means and a ways? Okay, this guy's going beyond the slow. Would you find a means and a ways to check off the various things that you wanted to do on your bucket list? Or would that be too hard? So I'm curious, family. You know what? I'm gonna do a gangster move because I don't like this traffic right here. Let's see. Let's go. Come on. So what would you do in 6 months, family? Would you try to rectify the wrong in your life? Would it mean anything to you? Would you be like, you know what? I'm leaving anyway, so it is what it is. Let the chips fly where they may. And whoever felt my wrath, oh well. Or if someone did something to you, could you settle that up? Could you go and speak to that person and be like, look here. You may not have to say what's going on with you. You don't have to divulge that, that you are going through a situation where you may not see the 7th month. Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think about the fact that we all have an expiration date? You know what I'm saying? We all have an expiration date, and what are you going to do when that time comes? If you knew, let me fix this right here. If you knew deeply that this is it, you were given the time. Normally, cancer patients know that, or oh man, I can't think of it. Bony, which is a very deadly disease. In the movie with the guy that played Frazier, he did a movie called Boss, and he suffered with this particular disease, and he knew that he had a certain amount of time. If anything, he became a son of a bitch behind it. He was like, you know what? Everybody's gonna feel this heat. Everybody's gonna feel this heat. And he put it forward. He paid it forward of just being tyrannical and whatnot. But what would you do, family? It's over with. How do you right the wrong? How do you settle up? If you own a house, who do you give it to? What if you have young kids? Do you divide it? Do you get an executor over the estate, over your affairs? Would you assign certain people to your life that probably didn't have that position and now have that position and be like, listen, I need you to do this, this, and this when I'm gone? Carry on the legacy of who I am. Would it matter to you? Or not? Would you just feel like, you know what? I'm out of this. So, it is what it is. Kick rocks. I was wondering about that. About mortality. When we're in our 20s, we're outside, it's 15 below. Jacket is open. Nose is sniffling. I'm sorry. Let me bring that back. When we're preteens, nose is sniffling, cold as hell. coming from school, got a little box drink in your hand, running with your friends to snow and snowball fights and whatnot. We're conquering the world. Then we hit our 20s, we're partying, we're clubbing, sleeping around, just doing us, experimenting, learning about ourselves. Probably moved out of home, probably in college, maybe first, last, second, whatever year. Well, I jumped ahead, teenage, and then 20s. Well, we're still conquering the world. Then we enter into the world of responsibility, which is probably there already, but now it's really there. Maybe we got married, or maybe not. But we have a home, we have a mortgage, we have an apartment, or a condo, what have you. And we're just trying to figure it all out. Trying to make ends meet. Trying to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. Trying to stretch that dollar. When we hit our 40s, start wondering about things, Start having those conversations if you have children, or with people that are younger than you that you're like, listen, this and this and this is the reality of sorts. Then you hit your 50s. And you kind of have this, still figuring it out, still trying to recalibrate, but brushing it off the shoulder with certain things. Accepting the phrase that I hate, it is what it is. Or maybe you've retired young. Oops. Maybe you retired young. And you're saying to yourself, this is the second stage of my life. Maybe you were 48, 49, 50, you took a package, You travel the world, what do you do? I know I'm deviating off of it, but I'm just giving you the succession of time of, what is this dude gonna do? He's gonna go where? He's gonna go there. Okay, I'll go here. Cool. The succession of time. But now, what if you hit with the boom bang? The boom bang of a disease, an illness, something or other. You got 6 months to live. How do you speed up all those things that you wanted to do? Your bucket list. How can you? Can you? Start to think about these things as you get older. You start to see it for what it is. That it was a fantasy when you're a preteen, when you're a youngster. It was still a fantasy when you're in your 20s. I saw a video clip. The famous comedian Jerry Lewis. It was deep. He was 95 years old and he died a couple months later. And it talks about a man, a comedian, who was in his prime of his life. Not his prime, but the latter years of his life. And he's looking at his mortality. That, he's going to be leaving. And lo and behold, he did an interview on Extra, one of those Hollywood celebrity shows. Really, dude? Really, dude? Really? You're going to do it all here? Okay, I'll come over here. And he talked about, he said it scares him. He said it really does scare me. Because I know that I have almost touching fingers amount of time on this planet. I have grandkids, I have a wife, I have loved ones, and I won't be able to touch them, to see them, to hold them, nothing. He said, that scares me. That really scares me. And I thought, wow, and he's playing the part of that character, going through that. Anyway, family, 6 months from now, you have a death sentence. How do you finalize and square up and settle up all your affairs is the question. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades, and this is Bridging Affairs. Let us give thanks and praise that we are 6 feet above ground and not below, and that those in our inner circle are in the same vein. Remember 3 things, family. Well, remember 6 things. The first 3 is like, share, and subscribe. Let the channel grow. Come on, family. Let the channel grow. Let the algorithms reach out. Let me bring that heat. Let me reach other people. Let me let you think. Things that probably you thought about, but not, but now you're hearing it from someone. You're like, wow, this dude's making a lot of sense. Let me do that for you, family. But I need your help, to be able to do that. And the last thing is, whatever you do, family, stay lovely, stay sexy, but most of all, stay safe. Take care, family.